Collectors Club with Michael and Riley. I know a story of high strangeness or two. Let's do this.
Yeah, woo, 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 yeah, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is the decibel of the ball.
My stars, Riley Bray.
I like this one. This one's good.
I really like that one. The decibel of the ball.
This was submitted by MH over on BCC, the other side.
Thanks, MH.
I blasted out a new request for new Riley titles. This is what we're doing now,
Great.
guest. You know, we just instead of calling him ultra-terrestrial, you know, that got old. So now our listeners get to name him. That's our friend. Let's just bring her in because really she's a member of the show.
Oh my God, that's too nice.
Yeah.
You're our sister from another paranormal mister.
Yes, and you're my brother from another paranormal mother.
That's right.
Great.
It's been a second. I'm so glad to have you back. And it's not even Christmas. I guess you could say it's Christmas in May.
Ooh, yeah.
You recognize her voice. The guest this week is a superstar of comedy and podcasting. You know her from the hit CBS show Ghosts.
Whoa.
And, of course, the podcast, A Funny Feeling. Club Scouts of all timelines, please welcome back. Give an earnest Club Scout salute to our dear sister, Betsy Sodaro is here, everybody.
Thank you. Ow.
Woo, woo, woo. Hey, do you want to do a little club housekeeping with us, Betsy, before we get into the chit in the chat?
I would love to.
Okay, it's real quick.
Okay.
We have a save the date for everybody. This is big news.
Exciting.
BCC's doing their first live show in almost 2 years.
Cool.
And we're going back to my hometown of Kansas City to do it.
The heart of
Oh my
America.
God, that's going to be so fun.
Betsy, I don't know what you're doing August 1st, Friday night, August 1st, but there is Paracon KC happening that weekend in Kansas City. There's going to be ghost
What?
tours. There's going to be podcast shows. There's going to be paranormal celebrities. We're going to be there Friday night doing a show at I believe a local brewery.
What?
Don't have all the details yet. Those are incoming. So I'll put the link to Paracon Kansas City in the show notes and just save the date for now. Friday, August 1st.
I'm
Kansas City.
seriously going to maybe. I'm gonna like
Bets?
if I'm
Let's get a funny
not in
feeling on
Montreal.
board.
You know
I will
what?
be in Kansas City
Okay.
with you guys.
We
Hell
can.
yeah.
Getting weird.
I'll tell you what. If you come, we can take care of your travel and your room and board.
We'll do this right now. One
Wait,
time offer.
that's too nuts.
Free trip, and a place to stay. So,
What?
yeah.
But you might be on a couch.
Might,
Hey, I love
might be on a couch. You might be sleeping with a bulldog or some parrots.
Hey, or some parrots.
Yeah, we might be camping out at my. My
Great.
sister
I was
doesn't
worried
know
you
about any
said
of this.
or some parents, and I was
all
like,
happening.
"What?"
Yeah, everyone's parents are going to be there, Betsy.
That's
Yeah.
very
Listen,
spooky.
there's the kid's house and there's the parents' house, and
I
unfortunately,
have
we're
to
out of
stay
room at the kids'
parents'
house.
No.
And listen, they like to talk about quilts and the Civil War.
Too boring. Come on.
All right, August 1st, save the date. Also, just a quick reminder, get your BCC merch, TeePublic shop. It's all up there. Our new artwork by Derek Cole. Link in the show notes. Get your t-shirts for summertime. Maybe some tank tees.
Ooh.
Are you a tank tee? No.
No,
You're
not one bit.
Are you a tie-dyed tee?
Yeah.
Are you tie-dyed in overalls?
Not a big overall head because I worry that I'll like shit myself. I worry they'll get stuck.
You know what?
And,
Practical thinking.
Yeah.
and I'm
gotta
like, I don't need
anticipate.
I don't need to push it.
Why don't we have the old-timey little window that they used to have in like old man's pajamas that you used to see on cartoons with
The
little
little
buttons? You can
flap.
stick your butt out the flap.
Would you want to do that though?
I wouldn't trust it.
I wouldn't trust it one bit.
Maybe
Yeah, it's
around
just too-
home.
it feels wrong.
Around home, it sounds convenient, but also like, what's the point? Because if you're listen, guys,
what are you doing at home that
Yeah.
you need a onesie that you can?
well, I'm just saying, if you gotta poop,
Yeah.
like for guys, when you poop, you usually also pee, and there's not like a front hatch on that thing. It just goes down to the bottom
and
of the butt
that's
cheek.
same for
That is a
ladies,
good
you
point,
know?
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what do you do with that?
Yeah.
And then
so
what do you then close it up
you button it
and you're
back
like,
up.
okay, I'm done. That's
You need a
so
wider
weird.
hatch. You need a full
You need
kind
a
of
wider
front to back,
hatch.
back to
Yeah.
front hatch.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's got to go all the way up to like your, the hinges like at your belly button.
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe this
yeah.
is the new merch item.
There we go.
So what did they use it? Was it just for like mooning people back in the day?
I think so.
Probably.
Just for
Wow.
the bit.
For
They
the bit.
loved mooning.
I need to know more about these window bottoms.
You really
I
have
know.
to
I
learn
bet there's
something
like
here.
a
I hadn't-
podcast
hadn't
about
thought
it
of
or
that.
something. You know?
Here are things that I know from cartoons that I've never seen in real life.
Yes.
Window flaps in your pajamas.
Yes.
A butt
Mm-hmm.
flap in the pajamas. And St. Bernards that walk around in the snow with a
With
little
the barrel.
with the triple X on it to warm you up.
The whiskey
Where they
barrel.
make you a little martini.
Yeah, you snowboard. Like you're a Colorado gal. Did you
Yeah.
think that one day you might run into a St. Bernard that would warm you up with some like whiskey?
I hope that every single day I went outside.
that'd be
I was
so
like, God, I
fun.
hope I get stuck in an avalanche and then a big dog saves
Yeah.
me with a little martini.
I just, as a kid, I just thought that was a thing that I eventually would come across. You know,
You- A cartoon thing that I didn't think I would come across, but I did, was big water bottles like in your bed and stuff to warm you up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
the heater.
People
a
use
water
those
bottle.
all the time.
Mhm. That's a good one. Or like when and also like whenever Donald Duck was sick, he'd have one resting on his head, big glass thermometer out.
Yep.
You know, all those cartoons where Donald Duck is sick in bed.
Oh, so many. Poor Donald.
Poor Donald.
Poor
let me turn off.
Donald.
Let me turn off my notifications so nobody bothers us.
Yeah, just settle in.
Yeah, I did that. I said, do not disturb me. I'm talking to my friend.
Let's go, Betsy. I'm so excited you're here. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I love hanging with y'all.
Oh, it's the best. How have you been? What's going on? How's a funny feeling? Any spooky updates? Recent spooky updates.
Recent updates. Oh man, nothing nuts yet.
Haven't shot any like haunted places.
No, I haven't even. I'm trying to think if I've been to.
Does Montreal have any like ghost tours up there?
Wait, I did do a Montreal ghost tour.
Fun.
Okay.
It was very fun. It was very silly.
Okay.
It was more on telling stories about the history, which is fine, and but long stories to then be like, oh, and also people think they like hear a woman crying over there. Anyways, and I was like, we gotta talk about that lady crying. But it was very delightful. Our tour guide was a ghost, you know, so they would be like, look out for whatever these things are, which were cars. But then they would also like reference Beyonce, where it's like,
were
you
in
gotta
character.
figure. They were in character, but
They're keeping up
referencing
with the
Beyonce.
times. Yeah, you know.
But I guess Beyonce is interdimensional, man.
Yeah, universal, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But it was really, really fun. You know, and it's, of course, like any city is just old and gnarly and they went through shit.
Yeah.
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 Were there like fire? Is there like a portion of Montreal that's like underground from an earthquake, or is there like fires
There is,
or a molasses flood?
well, what there is an underground area. Oh, so there were what's that? You know where water goes
sewer.
underground? Yeah, I got you. A sewer where
You mean where my friends Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello live?
Yes, we love a sewer where, of course, in the olden days, poo-poo was going, and of course, there was a big cholera outbreak,
Oh,
and there was a ghost story about a like drunk dude who fell in to the sewer and couldn't get out, and so like died there, and you can hear him banging from below.
no way.
Yeah,
man.
that was a good one.
Also, by Ghostbuster rules, he's a shit ghost now.
He's a shit ghost.
He's like a brown slimer.
Absolutely.
A lot
Who
of potty humor
smells-
this week, everybody. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
That's got to be one
Started
of the
it
worst
real
ways
quick.
to become a ghost. You know?
Yeah.
Imagine that. You're just one day you're just alive walking down the street, and then And you're
in
a shit
like.
ghost.
I
That's
don't want
another
to be in a nasty, like, all sewers
I want
are
a
pretty
haunt,
gnarly,
like a
but
old
like,
mansion,
more
like a
cartoon,
castle.
more cartoon rules. Walking along, falling in a manhole, and
There
then
you go.
dying.
There
Yep.
you go.
there it
you go.
is.
Betsy, I'm excited because I know for a fact. Now, let's go back in time. You've been
Yes.
on the show a number of times now.
Yes.
We've missed you the past couple holiday seasons for various reasons.
Yes.
But the last time and the time before that and the time before that, you had never had a paranormal experience.
Right.
Well, what has happened?
Did I talk about? I think I did.
You didn't. We've
I
never done it
did.
on the show.
Because,
The last time
It must
you
have
were
happened.
on was before this happened. The last time you were on, we talked about Bloodbeat, that ninja movie.
yes. Oh my God.
Of course.
And that was like 2022.
Wild.
Yeah, that was a
Okay.
while ago.
Okay.
So, Betsy
I have
Sodaro,
one now.
what's your personal paranormal history and what happened?
Okay. So it was a couple of years ago now. I think 2 or 3 years ago in March. I went home to Colorado to visit my sister and her family. And we went up into Summit County to go skiing, and we decided like to rent a place in Keystone. And so we didn't have to drive back, and it's just always fun, it's always fun. And one night, the only night we were in this condo, let me lay out the condo. It's pretty small. It was 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. When you first enter the condo, there's a little bathroom like right away that had like a shower and everything. And then you walk through and you have like the kitchen, living room, and then bedroom, and bathroom. But it's all pretty small. Like you can kind of know where everybody is. You can kind of hear everything that's going on,
Okay.
So we're hanging out. My nieces go to bed. I'm sharing a room with them. They go to bed earlier, and me and my sister and brother-in-law are hanging out. And we're just kind of chilling, and we hear a noise, but it sounds like the heater or something. It sounds very a part of the house. And we're like, oh, okay. And it was just in the living room. And my sister was like, oh, I hope I can't hear it from the bedroom while I sleep or what, whatever. And then it stopped and it was like, okay. And so my sister goes to bed, and then my brother-in-law, we hang out a little bit longer. And then we decide like, okay, I'm going to go to bed. And he goes into the bathroom in the hallway. I sneak into the room I'm staying with my nieces in, which is right across from the bathroom. And I grab my toiletry bag to then go walk through the condo and use the front bathroom, which I kind of declared mine. I was like, nobody else is allowed in here.
Yeah.
This is
I
mine.
got some buttons on these pants and I'm going to use them.
Yes, and this flap will be open. And so I go into the room, and the door is open, and I hear from the living room a great big, like a big sigh, and it sounds just like my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess Nate must be like getting water or something. And I walk out, no one's there. And I was like, what? And then I look and I see that Nate is in the bathroom, like using it. And I'm like, oh my
no.
God. And then I hear, again in the living room, and I run to the bathroom, and I'm like, so I'm shaking, I'm freaking out. I didn't have my phone with me. I'm freaking out, but the whole time I'm like, I gotta tell Marcy, this is too weird. I don't know what it was, because it wasn't, at that moment, it wasn't like on a beat, so it didn't seem like it was a heater or anything. It sounded like a man sighing. So I'm like getting ready, and my body reacted like it's never reacted before, like
Totally.
hair up,
Yep.
shaking, like truly trembling. I've never trembled. I wasn't necessarily scared, but I just adrenaline was like, something is weird.
Yeah.
Something is weird. Here we go. So I'm like in the bathroom, like, oh my God, washing my face, brushing my teeth, being like, this is too strange. This is too strange. I come out, and it's like, it's pretty dark out there. I meant to say that earlier. Like, it's pretty dark, but there's still light coming in from the window. And then there's like kind of a pretty dark corner. And I come out, and I'm like, I'm going to wait and see if it is like something heat or
A
something
radiator,
happening.
sure
Yes.
thing.
Something.
If there's a pattern or anything, Nate, my brother-in-law, he's out of the bathroom. He's in his bedroom. And so I'm like waiting. And nothing's happening. I'm like waiting and freaking out and like, oh my God. And then once again, and it's coming from the really dark corner. So I walk up. I'm like walking closer
Betsy!
to it. I'm
Good
walking
job. You
closer
gotta-
to
You
it.
gotta check it
And
out.
also, I have to in order to get to my bedroom. I have to walk closer to it.
Fair.
And
I'm
you're
like,
all by yourself?
all by myself. Everybody
So
else
brave.
is in there like sleeping, whatever. And as I'm like getting closer, I then hear a like suck in gasp. And then I run into the bedroom and I'm like, and my nieces were very much like, don't close the door, keep the door open. And so I'm like in bed shaking. The door is open. I'm sharing a bunk bed. I'm on the bottom bunk. My youngest niece is on the top bunk, and then my other niece is in a different bed on the other side of the room. And I'm like freaking out. I think I'm texting Marcy, but trying to play it cool. Like, Marcy, I think something happened. Oh my God, let me tell you tomorrow. Da, 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 da. And the whole time I'm just like looking at the door, being like, if I see a anything
Just a
walk by that
silhouette,
door,
yeah.
I'm going to
Dude.
lose my mind. So I like flip over. I put on Tommy Boy on my phone
Oh,
and
yeah.
my
Good
headphones,
move.
and I was
Yeah.
just like, "Boo," and then I woke up the next morning and I was like, you guys, listen to what happened to me last night.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
It was wild. It was really free. Like, and just to have my body kind of go into adrenaline mode without any reason was a very big indicator of like, oh, nothing like this has ever happened.
Yep.
Something is up.
Yeah. Your sixth sense kind of kicked in. Your fight or
Yes.
flight kicked in. Did anybody else have an experience?
No, they didn't. My sister was, and I meant to do this. She was like, oh, we should look up to see if anything weird happened in these condos or whatever, you know. And then Adela Levine was on.
Yeah.
We had her come on and we talked to her about our experiences, and she was like, that might be nature or like alien something, like
She's
something
very into the
more-
alien spirits.
Yes, yeah. She was like, it might be something more than just an entity or like
yeah,
a
just a
ghost. Is
ghost.
too nuts. But yeah, and I was like, whoa.
I mean, those mountains, those mountains are full of
Yes.
things, I
Yes.
feel like.
Yeah.
Some weird energy out there.
Weird.
Some old
Weird.
energy out there. A lot of like history out there in
Yeah.
the Rockies. So
Because they were like under the ocean.
wait, where was this? Was this in the Rock? Was it
Yeah,
Colorado?
this is Colorado.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were under the ocean. That could have
Yeah.
been an old ocean ghost.
That could have been an ocean ghost, dude. And, a dinosaur ocean ghost.
A ghost
just like-
ghostin'.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I miss the ocean. What are we doing now?
Yeah.
It's all cold.
An exasperated plesiosaur is like, oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
These
And never
trees
seen a
aren't
human
fun to
before.
eat.
So I'm
Yeah.
like, you scared it. It's possible.
maybe.
What about this theory? I'm going to
Yes.
float this. What if you were in some sort of time loop and what you were hearing was someone from the future or the past overlapping in the condo, because the condo, lots of people come and go.
Constantly.
And what if they
Yes.
thought you were a ghost? And like, what if it was just a tired man who'd been like on vacation with his family and then he saw you and gasped because he thought you were the ghost?
Yes. Hey, fair enough. Me creeping up on him in the night, like from the bathroom, just creeping
Yeah.
up, being like, ooh.
Yeah, so we're
that
in-
could have totally happened. Because the size sounded so much like and the gasp sounded like a human man. Like they sounded like a human man.
Yeah, sometime in 1997, a husband woke up and was like, you guys, you won't believe what happened to me last night.
Yes. Oh my God. I hope that's what happened.
Oh my gosh. That would be, I
Yeah.
heard the sound of Tommy Boy playing in the house. It just came out in theaters. How's that possible?
From a little device or something. What is
Portable
this
DVD
world?
player, perhaps.
It was floating around the room.
DVD players cost thousands of dollars.
That's ridiculous.
Couldn't afford that.
Did somebody
afford
record
that.
Tommy Boy and put it in their Walkman? That's the only explanation I can
The
think
only
of.
feasible
Oh
explanation.
my God. I used to
right.
do that like would burn like sketches and bits from The Simpsons and just like pop them on a CD and like listen to TV shows.
Yep, we used to
great.
do that. We'd hold up the boom box, hit record on a tape, and just play like audio from the Family Ties or Brady Bunch, and we just listen to it later.
Isn't that so silly?
That's all we. What else are we gonna do?
Right.
Once it's on, and then you may never see it again unless it's in reruns. You can't get that stuff on.
dude.
If that was our on demand back then,
Yes.
really
Calling the
was.
radio station for a request and then pushing record. I'm like,
Yeah.
Got it.
I remember doing that for Bob Marley jamming.
Nice.
I was like, I need this song so bad.
I love it. All right, we're gonna take a break. When we come back, more Betsy Sodaro. Okay, Betsy, you know the name of the show is Bigfoot Collectors
Yes.
Club. And guess what? It's been a little while since we checked in with our furry friend.
Yes.
So you are here for a brand new segment. We've never done it on the show before. I wonder what's happening with Bigfoot right now.
Oh.
Where in the world is Bigfoot? San Diego?
Whoa. I wish
wondering how you're gonna
Bigfoot
land
was
that.
chilling in San Diego.
I looked up
Might
He could be. I looked up San Diego and no Bigfoot stories currently, but people have seen him in the rural areas of San Diego before.
I bet.
All
I
right,
do
here
like
we-
this image of the Bigfoot with the big hat and the
Yeah.
Is it a red trench coat, Carmen San Diego?
Oh,
Yeah, right.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how I'm picturing this for any of these sightings. Just
Yes,
I like that.
absolutely. So picture Picture Bigfoot in a red trench coat and a big hat. Okay, possible sighting number 1 in where in the world is Bigfoot? San Diego. Penn State student thinks he encountered Bigfoot on game lands near campus. Now, I want to say all of these are from 2025. So these are recent Bigfoot sightings.
Wow. Okay.
A Penn State student is sharing a harrowing encounter with something he believes is a Bigfoot that occurred about 2 weeks ago on game lands near the Center County campus. This is back in February. The male student was only identified as MK, the initials, but people call him Mac in the story, which is very fun. In a report posted Friday on the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization, or the BFRO website. Although he also appeared on a recent episode of the Sasquatch Chronicles podcast and went by Mac. Hey, MK, what are you doing? Come over here to Bigfoot Collectors Club.
up your
Yeah,
boys.
do it, MK.
So Penn Live reached out to the group to speak to them. The message was not returned. So the BFRO is not returning messages.
Out of office.
Out of office.
Very funny.
So, man, I wish you were here a couple months ago, Betsy. Somebody emailed us a photo of a petrified Bigfoot toe. They claimed it was a Bigfoot toe and wanted to know if we'd want to buy it. And then also sent it out to like a bunch of other Bigfoot museums.
What?
And we think they emailed us because our name is Bigfoot Collectors Club. So they just thought we collect Bigfoot artifacts.
Oh my God.
Fair assumption.
Did it look
Yeah.
like a toe?
It
I'll
looks
send
like
you a
rock,
picture. It looks like a rock with a toenail.
toe shaped.
Yeah, it's a toe-shaped
Funny.
rock. I'll send
How
you a
much did they want it for?
That I think they
That's the
wanted us to
thing.
start the offer.
Okay.
I'm sure they would have not accepted less than $15,000.
Uh-oh.
Okay, according to the report, MK filed with the BFRO. He was raccoon hunting on February 19th in the western part of State Game Lands 333, about 3.5 miles north of campus along Spring Creek, when, at about 6:30 p.m., the student said he heard a tree knock, which Bigfoot researchers say the creatures frequently do. We have heard the same, obviously. He then said he was followed. MK described the knock to an investigator as if you took a bat and gave a tree a nice, firm tap.
Whoa.
MK said he was using his spotlight to scan the forest and could hear something walking along with him, as well as ice and twigs snapping. At one point, he turned with the spotlight and saw something large and upright go behind a tree. He told the BFRO that he then called a friend and begged him to bring his AR-15 rifle
Interesting choice.
Oh,
and
man.
come help him escape the
Mac,
woods.
chill out a little bit.
While still on speakerphone with his friend, the student said he turned and caught a Bigfoot in his spotlight about 40 yards away. MK reported that the creature looked like King Kong, but with a sharper nose and gray skin on the face. He said Bigfoot had a pronounced brow ridge and sunken eyes, according to the report. The Bigfoot's head was sloped back and rounded, and it seemed to have a receding hairline. I love little details like this. It makes it much more real.
Yes.
MK estimated the creature was over 7 feet tall with a massive body, larger than the biggest bodybuilder. He said he viewed the Bigfoot for about 2 seconds. Frightened, MK said he chose to squeeze through a thorn bush to sprint to the creek and towards his truck. Heading forward would have sent him in the direction of the creature, he said. Going by Mac, the student also shared his story on the February 22nd episode of Sasquatch Chronicles. I wonder if they got back to this paper with a comment. He said to them, "It's a moment I will never forget the rest of my life because I saw the thing as clear as day." MK said that he felt trapped and hunted and that he also saw a blue light moving through the woods. So there was orb activity, which we're getting into some real Bigfoot high strangeness here. There you go. That's he had a dreadful feeling, but there you go. That's sighting number 1. Pensay. What do you think, Betsy?
I'm just worried, like, I'm still wrapped up in the AK-47. Like, what were you going to do? Blow him to pieces?
Yeah. Also, wait until it arrives. Like, maybe
What
He's
are we
flying in an AK.
maybe we don't need, like, a tactical
You plan
drop.
on blowing Bigfoot to pieces. That's your goal. Come on. Come on.
Yeah, if Bigfoot wanted to rip your arms out of your sockets, he could get it done and disappear with that blue orb.
Yes.
And
Long
now-
before your friend gets there.
And now Bigfoot has a machine gun. So
Yes.
Look what you've done.
Now he took
Great
your
job.
arm with a
Yeah,
machine
you gotta
gun
think this
attached
through.
to it. I mean, that's exciting. And the blue orbs, is that like
Yeah.
a kind of known thing of like?
A lot of reports. Now, a lot of times people are afraid to like add this part because it makes them
Okay.
sound crazy. But if you do the research, in a lot of situations where people have Bigfoot sightings, there is also weird forest light activity, sometimes at the same time or preceding or following a Bigfoot sighting.
I remember, I feel it was the first time I did y'all's show, you introduced the idea of like Bigfoot maybe being an alien.
Yeah, or
interdimensional, where it
interdimensional,
is
yeah.
like, oh, does that mean he then went into a portal or something and went somewhere else? Because he heard AK-47, he's like, "Nuh-uh,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be legal. I'm out of here.
They let that restriction lapse. They should have never done it.
Should have never done it."
Well, it gets weirder than that because we've also had actually last week's guest, Joshua Kutchin, and his co-author, Timothy Renner of Where the Footprints End, talks about the idea of Bigfoot being a woodgeist, like a poltergeist, but in the forest. That he might
so
actually
like
be some kind.
energy.
That he might actually be some kind of wood phantom or wood ghost that appears like an ape, but is really like that blue light taking form in, you know what I mean? So it's like what a ghost of the woods might look like.
Whoa.
Think about that.
Cool. Because we were talking like the woods, they got a lot of energy in there.
Hell yeah,
There's
dude.
a lot happening.
There is a lot happening. All right,
Whoa,
let's
I
head
got
over to
chills.
possible sighting number 2 in
Nice.
Where in the world is Bigfoot? San Diego. It's got a big question. San Diego?
San Diego.
Go.
Nope, not San Diego. Wells, Maine. February 2025, same month. Now, there is a video that goes along with this. We're going to roll it as we talk about it. I want you guys to check out this video.
Okay.
I'll put it in the Instagram. I'll put it up on the YouTube. You'll find it. Okay, here we go. Reports stated that in February 2025, after a heavy snowstorm, a set of mysterious tracks was discovered in the snow on a man's property near Kenyon Hills Preserve in southern Maine. The tracks were approximately 7 to 8 feet apart, totaling about 2 strides of the landowner. He followed them for approximately 150 feet until they became unrecognizable. While the man reported that the tracks seemed recently made on the thick crusted snow, unfortunately, there wasn't really enough detail with the tracks to easily determine what might have made them. There was even a video taken of the tracks, which you can see here or below, according to the article, and I'll put a link to this in the show notes. So, was it Bigfoot or more likely something else? A BFRO investigator, here they're back, stated that the tracks were definitely not moose tracks, but they were made by a very tall bipedal creature, much taller than an average human. However, commenters on the video were much more skeptical, with one person suggesting that they were deer tracks or perhaps a hopping animal. You know, 'cause sometimes the animal hops could
That's
replicate
a big
tracks.
hop, but it's so
7 to 8
linear.
feet
Sorry,
apart.
keep
I mean,
going.
that's longer than Riley.
That's a
Riley laid down.
huge.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a huge hop.
I mean, it's longer than me too, and Betsy. But I'm just saying, Riley's
Way
tall.
longer than me.
A commenter who said that she was the wife of the man who took the video reiterated that while they didn't say specifically they thought it was Bigfoot, the stride of the track seemed to be from something big. So some people she thought maybe a bounding bobcat or a lynx, or maybe it is a Bigfoot. Maybe not. Maybe it's fun to think of the wildest what if scenario, the article asks, and I agree. So what do you think?
Wow.
Bigfoot spotted in Maine, Wells, Maine?
I mean, it's interesting. Have you guys watched it all the way through yet?
Yeah.
Yes.
At the end, the tracks get really close together as
I
they're
know.
slowing down and then just.
But maybe that's when it's like tiptoeing into the orb.
Right. You got to tiptoe. Like running
you watch
away.
this- Yeah. Tip, 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 tip. If you watch this video, turn on the sound because there's some really good snow crunching sounds.
Ooh, yeah,
in it.
ASMR.
I love
baby.
that
really
sound
nice.
so much.
What do you
This
think,
is
Bets?
pretty
What do you think,
wild.
Riley?
I don't know
tell.
what it is.
Really weird. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know. I guess if it's an animal, like if it is a bounding animal, that's such a huge leap.
Yeah. Also,
And,
I feel like
for all four
So
of the paws to
consistent.
land in
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. They look pretty. I mean, I guess a big person could have walked through there, but I wish you could see some like toe imprints or something that really says.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell if
Bigfoot.
there's kind of a sense of left-right on them.
Yeah, because it's very like it's very like
Linear.
one right after
Yeah.
the other, where it's like, do we walk like that? But also, it's Bigfoot. I don't know if Bigfoot walks like that.
And you can tell that snow's really deep too.
Yes.
Here's the thing, there's a lot of branches around, and there's a couple that look like broken, dangling branches along the tracks. Guys, get out there, look for some hair samples.
We
Look for
need
some
some hair
broken,
samples.
high broken branches where this thing might have,
That's a
moved
good
through.
Yes.
clue. Yeah.
But there is early on in the video, you can see like a little dangling broken branch next to the tracks in the tree. So maybe something big brushed through.
Pretty
Look for the
mysterious.
hair.
Wow,
Look for the
very
hair.
weird.
There you
Yeah,
go.
look for
All right.
hair.
That was the first
Weird.
installment of Where in the World is Bigfoot?
San Diego?
Thank you, everybody. We'll be right back with more Bigfoot Collectors Club and more Betsy Sodaro. Betsy,
Woo!
do you want to play a game?
Yes.
Okay, great. Before we do that,
Always.
let's welcome some new Club Scouts that recently joined us over on BCC The Other Side at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club. Sarah Crease, official
Thank you.
Club Scout. Thank you, Sarah. And new Cosmeteers, JJ Hasselden
Thank you, JJ. Welcome to the ranks.
and Nina Bohe Bunch Lorenzen.
Nina Bohe Bunch Lorenzen?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
We appreciate you. Come join us over at BCC The Other Side at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club. Lots of fun over there, guys. Betsy, it's been a while since you played this game. I want to see where you stand today.
Where am
And the
I
list
at?
has
Where am I
changed.
at?
Where are you at? The list
Okay.
has changed. So you know what I'm doing here. I'm going to go down a list of phenomenon.
Yes.
If you're open to it, you're going to say believe it. If you're not
Yes.
open to it, you're going to say bullshit. You have to
Yes.
pick one or the other. There's
Okay.
no on the fence.
Okay.
This is a game that we call bullshit.
Or believe it.
Betsy Sodaro.
Yes, bring it on.
On your mark. Get set. Ghosts.
Believe it.
Bigfoot.
Believe it.
UFOs.
Believe it.
Mothman.
Believe it.
ESP.
Believe it.
Chupacabra.
Believe it.
The Abominable Snowman.
Oh, believe it. I want that to exist so bad.
Ouija boards.
Oh, believe it. Won't go near one.
The Loveland Frogman.
I feel I've heard of that, and sure, believe it.
Hopkinsville Goblins.
Ooh, believe it.
Do you know this story off the top of your head?
I like
Okay,
where
we'll
this is
circle
going,
back.
though.
Yeah.
You'll like this one. Skunk Ape.
Believe it. Because I feel that one could maybe be a fun, like, Bigfoot friend.
Exactly.
You know?
A very fun Bigfoot. It's Bigfoot.
Yeah.
It's an extra stinky Bigfoot
A
from Florida.
stinky Bigfoot.
Hollow Earth.
I don't know that.
There's like
Is it
the
a
Earth is
theory?
hollow, and there's like a hidden world with dinosaurs or lizard men down there. You get it. The entrance is at the North Pole.
Bullshit. Sorry.
You know, like
It's
Journey to
yeah.
the Center of the Earth. That's basically where it's like people read that book and then went, "It's true."
It's got to be true.
Crystal balls.
Bullshit.
The Loch
Yeah.
Ness.
We'll say yeah. Bullshit.
The Loch Ness monster.
Believe it.
The Beast of Bosco.
I don't know that.
No one does.
This is a
No.
really big snapping turtle.
Huge.
Huge.
Big turtle.
In I think it was Indiana. Massive, like really big, like the size of like a Prius. That was on a farmer's lake, and he saw it a couple times, and then he became obsessed with capturing it, and like drained the lake, brought out a female sea turtle to try to seduce it, like all sorts of
Oh
things.
That's like
my
Bugs Bunny.
God.
He named it Oscar, and then Oscar just like got away one day, and then they never saw him again. But he was like massive.
Oh my God. I'll say believe it just because that's funny. That's a funny story.
Out of body experiences.
Believe it.
The Michigan Dog Man.
I have heard of that. I guess believe it.
Tarot cards.
Believe it.
Wendigos.
Ew. Believe it, and that's scary.
Life on other planets.
Believe it.
Life after death.
Believe it.
Oh my God. Great job, Betsy.
Love
Also,
it.
while you were doing that, my cat Biggie just took the stinkiest crap in the litter box.
I
He's been
like
doing
how
this lately.
stinky this episode is.
Dude,
It's
it's a
stinky one.
stinky
It's a
ass
stinker
skunk ape
episode.
episode. I can't even like my eyes burn when he does this.
Oh my God.
My fiance and I talk about this all the time, like how horrendous his poops are. I'll get through it, and then during the break, I will have to take a pause, get this out of my house.
You got it. That is so funny.
You are terrified of Ouija boards.
Yes.
Why is
I went
that?
to the Mystic Museum in Burbank. Have you guys been?
Yeah, this came up on the
Many
show
times.
recently too.
It's
great.
pretty delightful. And we went to see the like, what was the school, like slasher, the horror school display, like little walkthrough haunt thing.
Yeah. They always have like a horror movie like props and stuff.
Yes.
Or, like, art inspired by, they did that with like Evil Dead. I remember a number of years ago.
It was fun. This was the first time. I've only been once, and you exit through into a room filled with Ouija boards. And it's so I'm scared of them. I think they really can fuck some shit up,
Just by channeling or inviting something into your
Yes.
home that you don't want there.
Yes, I think even, and there's been that argument for years, like, but Milton
Milton
Bradley.
Bradley.
Milton Bradley couldn't do that, and it's like, I don't care. They are giving you the option to even opening up your world to the other world, and that's crazy. That's spooky.
Yeah. And they had seen it was inspired by other spirit boards that were around during that era. So they
Yes.
listen, just because they are also like we're talking about like 1900s version of Milton Bradley. This is
Yes,
like when
freaky.
every toy and game was basically some form of occult tool. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like,
True.
This was the time when people were telling you, like, hey, take arsenic for like a backache. Like,
Yeah.
that's poison.
something else that I've only seen in cartoons is arsenic or poison bottles with skulls on them.
With skulls on them, yeah.
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 Green, and they're green. You know, the
Yes.
liquid's green.
Kind of glowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Who's to say that they didn't, who's to say that they didn't perfect a occult tool,
Right.
you know?
Right.
Don't underestimate Milton and Bradley.
So you never did it? Never did it at a slumber party or anything?
We did it one time, but I ended up being too scared to touch it. Because we did it one time in a cemetery.
Okay.
My junior or senior year of high school. And I feel I was really
perfect.
pushing. I was like, this is going to be awesome. And then they started, they're like, okay, Betsy. And I was like, I'm not touching it.
No.
I'm not, dude. I'm not going near that thing.
Did anybody contact anything or claim to contact
I want to
anything?
say maybe somebody's uncle.
Okay.
I want to say something like that. But, you know, the whole time being like, really? What's really
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah. Or is this like some malevolent entity pretending to be an uncle? That's what I always think.
Which
it
I
is.
think Ouija opens up. I think
Yeah.
Ouija opens that up big time.
Because, you know, they're just waiting around for you to talk to them and be noticed,
Yes.
Betsy.
Yes.
Just sighing in the corner until you
Stupid
walk over to
teenagers
face
to
them.
do it.
Yeah.
Michael! Shit!
Any other? Oh, Hopkinsville Goblins. This is a great
Yes.
story. The Kelly Hopkinsville Goblins. This is a story. This is a case from 19. Oh boy, I always mix this one up. I think it's 56.
50s.
And quick googs for me,
Yeah,
Riley,
fact
to
check.
confirm. Because I used to think it was 1954, and it turns out it's 1956, or I thought it was 1956, and it's 1954.
55.
55, right in
Hey,
between.
right
Either
in
one.
the
There you go.
middle.
August
All right.
21st.
I fucked it up again.
No,
This
you're
is the
doing
one
great.
date that
You're in,
eludes me.
you're in the window. It's fine.
I'm usually good with numbers. So this is a family that were in this like small farmhouse in rural Kentucky, and it was like two brothers, their wives, and some kids, and a mother. You know, one of the mothers, and they see a rainbow-colored object streak over the sky when they're going out to the well to get some water, and then a few minutes later, these silver and green glowing. They looked like gremlins. The gremlins were kind of based on them. Came floating out of the woods,
What?
surrounded the house. Now they think there were at least two, but there might have only been one or two. But it was popping its head in the window, and they started shooting. Talk about like
Shotguns.
talk about get the guns. They started shooting at these things with shotguns, and it lasted all night long. And they called the police, and then they said when they would shoot them and make contact, it would make the sound of like hitting a tin can, and the goblin would like do like a woo, 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 like little whirly thing, and like they floated around. It was very Marvin the Martian.
What?
Yeah, this is a great story. Yeah,
That's
it's one-
awesome.
you would love this story. I'll send you a good, account of it.
Yeah.
And you can take a read.
It sounds so cartoony. That's fun.
It's very, very fun. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time for this week's High Strangeness. Right after I scoop this poop and get it out of my life. Hold on, everybody. Okay, it's time for High Strangeness, Betsy.
Yes.
Buckle up.
Okay.
Club Scouts, you may recall a fascinating UFO case that took place in France back in 1965. Maurice Muss, a farmer living in Valençol, was surprised to discover a small craft and two alien greys wandering around in his lavender fields one sunny afternoon. This case is awesome, Betsy.
That
It's
just
another
sounds
cool.
wonderful. Just in France, wandering around lavender fields. Like, good job, aliens.
During the run-in with the beings, Mass was temporarily paralyzed by one of the entities who used a long wand-like device to freeze him. This comes up a lot too. long magic wands that aliens have that can like disappear people and make them reappear. It's really, this shit is weird. It's much weirder than you think, Betsy.
Yeah.
While under paralysis, the two aliens boarded their craft and took off into the blue sky over Europe, leaving behind some compelling physical evidence in the form of charred earth and strange chemical properties in the soil. For a deeper look into this case, check out the back half of episode 215 with special guest Trevor Everts. So for this episode of BCC, I want to travel back to France in the 1960s, a period known for cinema verite, yay music, the prominence of Jane Birkin, and of course, high strangeness. This is the Cussac Alien Encounter.
Oui,
monsieur.
Oui.
On August 29th, 1967, two siblings, Francois Dupleur, who was 13 and a half, and Anne-Marie, 9 years old, along with their dog, Medor, M-E-D-O-R. I don't know if I'm saying any of these French names right, including Cussac. I don't know.
You sound good.
I'm
It
buying
sounds good.
Yeah.
Quick Googs it for me, Riley, because if I'm going to get too far into this story, I better know how to say these things. Francois, Anne-Marie, and their dog, Medor, were herding cows on their family farm on the plateau of Cantel near the village Cussac. The kids were about to lead the cows over a small stone wall when something peculiar caught their attention. As Francois climbed upon the stones, he glanced over a row of hedges and saw a giant glowing sphere resting in the rolling sun-kissed fields about 150 feet away. At the base of the sphere, the children could see 4 small, dark figures, which Francois and Anne-Marie initially mistook for children.
Ew.
Did we get a pronunciation check?
Yeah, the C is silent at the end. The rest is right.
Cussac.
Cussac.
I figured. It's all the French
Throw it
oyster.
away. Yeah.
Cussac. The Cussac Alien Encounter. The figures were all black, possibly wearing dark clothing that covered their entire bodies from head to toe, although no discernible hems, collars, cuffs, or hemlines were apparent. They were short, thin, with long arms, no discernible hands, and large heads shaped like footballs resting on end. So a pointy chin and a pointy skull.
Whoa.
So far, we've never encountered any aliens like these. Also, they couldn't see any facial features, no eyes, no ears, nothing.
Ooh.
The children did agree, however, that the former, the pointy chin, was caused by the appearance of beards on each of the little figures. They thought that they could see like hair on the side of their heads and then coming down on point to little beards. So
Faceless bearded aliens is what we're saying here?
We're getting into like gnomish, elfish territory here. This is some fae stuff happening, I think. One of the beings seemed to be messing around with something on the ground, and one of his companions was carrying a bright, mirror-like object that the children claimed reflected bright light at them from the sun. After a few moments, the boys shouted, believing that they were children, "Have you come to play with us?" The small black entity suddenly turned in their direction, and as if realizing they were being watched, made a hasty escape. Now, what happened next was a major surprise to the children, Medor the dog, and the cows. One by one, the little entities launched themselves into the air, arched, and then dove headfirst into the sphere like they were diving into a swimming pool.
Cool.
Right into the light of this. They literally went whoop, and did a tight arch and then went whee down into the sphere and disappeared.
Awesome.
That's great.
The alien carrying the mirror-like object had previously dropped it on the ground. On its way up, it suddenly stopped in the air as if remembering to get the object, came back down, picked it up, and then dove back into the sphere just like all the others.
Whoa.
The craft began to hiss, and the smell of sulfur wafted to the children. Growing ever brighter, the sphere rose into the air in an upward spiral. Woo, 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 woo. The children claimed that they could hear the sound of wind, although there was no breeze. The cows in the pasture began to moo in distress, and Medor began barking protectively as the object lifted into the sky and then zipped off over the horizon to the northwest. The children ran home to their father in tears, who summoned the police. The police officers scanned the area, and they agreed that they could smell a lingering sulfur stench, and they found dried grass where the UFO had allegedly taken off in the field. The case was investigated by Joel Mesnar and Claude Pavie of the French UFO publication Phenomenon Spatiaux. I think Space Phenomenon?
Seems like it.
The children's account remained consistent, however. There were a couple slight discrepancies that Mesnard and Pavie chalked up to the children being too overwhelmed to take in every little detail. For instance, it's unclear whether the craft had been hovering in the air above the ground or, as Anne-Marie had noted, standing on 4 thin legs. So she thought that there were little legs holding up the sphere, and her brother thought that she was seeing, because I guess she was kind of looking through the bushes, and the brother said no, she must have seen sticks from the bush, like, branches from the bushes causing the illusion of landing here. I don't know, but that was kind of like one of the only ones. The Cussac Alien Encounter, as it's become to be known, also captured the attention of the French government. Findings in this case, along with 1,600 other reported sightings that dated back to the 1950s, were released to the public in 2007, crashing the website in the process as they released them.
Yes.
This is like a real famous case. People like this one.
Yeah.
Other notable cases in that document release included one about 3 crew members on a passenger plane who witnessed a bronze-colored flying saucer which appeared, shape-shifted into multiple shapes, and then vanished into thin air as the plane approached. While many encounters could be explained away, the Cussac Alien Encounter remains a mystery today and one of the most notable incidents of high strangeness in France's history. And that is the Cussac Alien Encounter. Betsy, what the hell was that? Little black entities, glowing sphere, flying off into the sky, scared children, scared dogs, scared cows. What are we dealing with here?
Little beards. I don't know. That is cool. I've never heard anything like that.
Super spooky, super weird, super high strangeness-y, and I feel like very Fae-like.
Mm-hmm, yeah, really on that line between alien and fairy or fae. Yeah.
Because it is like, how do they travel? Like, how do little gnomes really get around? Maybe they built a little fun thing.
Sphere diving.
Sphere diving.
Sphere diving into it is like, they're having fun. They're having a good time.
They're having a laugh.
So there are these entities in Celtic mythology, which I also think is connected to Gaulish mythology, which would have been like the original mythology in France before the Romans came and killed all the Gauls, if I know my history correctly. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, probably.
I think so. I think so.
Killed them.
It's like, the Saxons and the Gauls are fighting, and then the Romans and everything. So a lot of the indigenous cultures got replaced by Roman mythology and Catholicism and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there is a type of fairy or dark elf called the Dena Shea, and it's spelled like Dawin Sidha. This is actually the term where Sith comes from in Star Wars. The Shia, the Sith, it's basically a play on that. Oh. And they are dark elves in fairy folklore. And a lot of this is in Ireland, but I think also relates to like mound fairies that live under the ground in these areas that like you would probably have a cow pasture on or a farm field on.
Yes.
And they're considered to be dark little elves. So this is kind of the closest thing that I could find to maybe matching a description of what these kids saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
When
they
do
seem,
they
didn't
usually-
seem menacing or dark though. They seem playful.
They're more trickstery,
Yeah.
and these
Yeah,
guys
kinda.
weren't. But I think they are literally like the Drow. They're like dark complected elves. You know what I mean? But they're not necessarily evil. They are just
Right.
like, I mean, the Sith in Star Wars are, but like these are just like little trickstery. They're the mound people. They're the
little
fairy
rascals.
folk. The little rascals. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
I don't know. That kind of, I was like, this kind of feels like maybe something like this, and maybe this and Alien are one and the same. But these aren't your
Right.
run of the mill alien grays.
No, I wonder what they were like planning to do and before they got caught. You know, like what were they up to?
Maybe they were like trying to light a like anthill on fire. You know, they have the like the little
Yeah,
mirror,
that
and the
little
guy's like
thing.
digging around. They're just a bunch of like kid elves
Aw,
just trying to like
dang
burn
it.
ants.
Yes.
This story, Riley, echoes a little bit of the. Do you remember the back last summer we did a story, Betsy, about two miners in I think it was in Northern California who saw a little man come out of a flying saucer, and he was like picking up things off the ground and putting them in a bucket. You know, it's like E.T. Like in a lot of these stories, these aliens are like collecting soil samples and collecting things
Yeah.
from nature and taking them back to wherever they go with them.
If I recall,
Coneheads.
those miners also wanted to shoot that guy.
They went to the sheriff. They claimed that they saw this little man come out of a flying saucer a couple times a few days in a row.
Yeah.
And they went to the sheriff and they're like, "Can we go back there and shoot him?" And the sheriff was like, no. Don't go start shooting at unidentified
Guys.
people in the woods.
Don't shoot at the creatures.
That's so funny that so many people's instinct is like, well, let's get a gun and shoot it.
We'll shoot it.
Yeah, let's just shoot it. I mean,
They're just here trying to take soil samples, you know. They're just,
Yes.
yeah. They're just
They want
trying
to take us over, you guys. We're not doing great.
They're just interdimensional botanists who are like,
Yeah.
okay, everyone. Okay, before you get on the glowing sphere, just a reminder, the dimension you're heading to, people like to shoot first. So be careful out there.
Yes. If you see
Have
one,
your orb
get
ready to
away
dive.
quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
What about the way that these things loaded up into, because usually we hear stories of like they go up into a little hatch and the hatch closes and it
Yep.
bangs and they fly. We've never heard stories of like them floating up into the air and then arching back down, literally diving in.
I think it's
My
so
favorite part.
fun.
Yeah, maybe a
exactly.
little bit of the in the aerial phenomenon. Maybe you remember how the kid said that they kind of saw the aliens jumping up on the craft, or they seem to be stepping out of time. I don't know. By the way, got
Yeah.
a lot of shit on the other side for not including the aerial phenomenon in the top 10.
I did see that. That
Encounters
was
list.
an oversight.
And you know what? They might be right. That might need to go on the list.
But then what's good? This is the problem with them. You know that
I
like
know.
that Rolling Stone greatest guitarist that everyone's like, it's always wrong. And it is always
always
wrong.
wrong.
Right.
It's always
Everything is always like,
It's
nuh-uh.
always wrong.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Well, guys, any final thoughts on this Cussac Alien Encounter?
I love it. I want one of those interdimensional diving ship portal
know.
orbs.
Yeah.
Like imagine if
too.
you had that and you could just, you're like, you know what? I'm over this. I
Yeah.
don't want to be at this party anymore.
It sounds
And they
just
claim-
really fun.
Fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a fun one. I could also see how kids would be scared if they saw that and would go running home crying.
Yes.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
did.
I think adults would too.
Yeah, and they did mention, because they were asked if they had like jetpacks or like any harnesses that made them fly, and they're like, nope, they just went up into the air and dove down. Whoa. Really weird stuff.
So
stuff.
weird.
Great
And the kids to think that they were kids is also like,
Yeah, at first they thought, well,
yeah.
they thought they were children, and then they were like, children don't fly like this and dive into glowing
Yeah.
spheres.
Yeah, they have
I mean, maybe
beards. I
some
want to
kids
see a
do
little
from-
drawing of these little dudes.
Oh, in fact, I have one. I'll put it in the show notes. There's a great like Xerox copy of an archive of from a U.S. publication, UFO publication in 1968 that reported this story in the US. And in it, and I'll put them up in this on the YouTube and all that stuff and in Instagram, there's some really cool like little diagrams of what these creatures looked like in a beat by beat. This one jumped, then this one jumped, then this one jumped. It's a cool thing. I love this story. I want more of these. This is the kind of thing that I really love. Really, really fun. Betsy, do you want to jump over to, do you want to close out and go to Collector's Corner with us?
Yes, I would love to.
Betsy, is there anything that you are reading, watching, consuming that's like you're really excited about? Are you binging anything right now that you're like, oh man, I'm like really into this thing right now?
I binged it already, and I've been talking about it nonstop. Have you seen Evil? Have you watched the show Evil?
I have. Is this the one where they're like psychologists who are trying to figure out if people are like possessed or they just have like mental health issues? Like it's a scripted story, right?
Yes, and they deal with everything. Yeah, and so there are of course like seasonal arcs and seasonal stories and stuff and like the whole show stories, but then it's almost procedural per episode of what their mission is. It's
kind of like X-Files.
Yes, and it is awesome.
Okay.
I highly recommend it. I've been screaming at everybody to watch it. It's so much fun because it deals with absolutely everything we love about kind of the unknown, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes it can debunk it, but sometimes it is like, we don't know.
Oh, dude, this sounds totally
awesome.
up my alley.
Yeah,
The
that sounds
acting is
great.
great.
Netflix? What's it on?
So I think the first 3 seasons are on Netflix, and then the rest is on Paramount Plus because it was a CBS show, and then it got moved to Paramount Plus because you could like tell like where you're like, whoa, they're like swearing and like you could kind of see boobs and stuff.
Suddenly,
like,
these guys are a lot filthier than they were in the first few seasons.
Truly, where you're like, whoa, what just? All right, let's go for it.
Does it get gorier? Does it get like scarier?
It stays
Darker?
pretty. A little bit, but not too nuts. It's great though. They're good monsters. Like it's cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
I watched it. I got Paramount Plus.
Good.
Yeah, you should. I think I loved it, and it was one that was really fun to binge watch.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay, I'll check that out. I love it because I'm kind of running out of some shows soon, so I need something. So I like this.
Yeah.
Great. And any good recent horror movies that you recommend? Everyone go check out. I know you loved The Monkey, which I still haven't seen.
Yeah, I was a lot of people didn't, and I understand why, but Mano and I loved it. They're really wild
I thought
deaths.
it was fun.
Yeah,
it was just a fun time.
It was so much fun. It's a crazy heightened world.
Yeah.
Go in knowing that, and really incredible deaths.
Sometimes like tone, like in a horror movie, if you're expecting like a real grounded horror movie or something and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like tone can really throw people off. But I love a weird tone in a horror movie.
And this one is so weird. Like it's hard to describe the tone of this movie.
I love it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great picks.
Yeah,
Evil.
great picks.
Go check it out.
Love it.
Riley, what about you?
I've been watching The Studio. You guys watching
It's great.
That?
I'm not fully caught up, but I've seen the first 4 episodes.
I won't ruin
I
it,
haven't
but honestly,
watched it yet. I'm a little like, uh-oh.
I think it is the best TV show of 2025. Also, I don't watch that much TV, so maybe I'm not the best judge, but I think it is so funny and so smart, and like the cinematography is so great.
Unbelievable.
It's like
shot
layers and
beautifully.
layers and layers of sort of commentary and like self-referential thing without breaking the fourth wall. And it's just like,
great.
It's just really, really good.
It's,
and I looked it up and I was like, whoa, there's like a bunch of like 1-star reviews of this, which kind of made me like it even more. And I think it is that thing where it's like people are thrown by the tone or they don't like the fact that it's a one-shot episode, but the second episode is a fucking one-shot about a one-shot, and they did it for real, and it's hilarious and amazing, and also visually fantastic, and it's just like, it's so good. I don't know. I'm a big fan.
Okay.
It's also
Okay.
it's one of those that like when I went into it, the show is different than what I thought the show was. It's more of a Curb Your Enthusiasm, like spoof,
good
and
reference.
Seth Rogen
Yes.
plays a guy who keeps humiliating himself in whatever situations in while trying to like run a studio and like do his job. And he's great in it too. Some of
He
the
is,
best
yeah.
acting I think I've ever seen Seth Rogen do in anything.
Cool.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta
You
watch.
know.
I gotta watch.
It's great.
it's really good. It's really fun. I'm like, I've watched the first 4 episodes and then I've kind of been saving some up to binge later.
Oh, fun.
Another great pick. I'm gonna say it again, but just because now we're 9 episodes in, Andor season 2 is some of the best Star Wars ever made. Specifically, episode 8 is one of season 2 of Andor is not only one of the best Star Wars things I've ever watched, it's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever seen.
Wow.
Whoa.
And it is so fucking good. And the show could not be more relevant to 2025. It's crazy how many things I see on Instagram where people are like, hey, turns out Star Wars is kind of political. It's like, it's kind of modeled after World War II and fascist regime taking over Europe. And, people are like, and like all these clips have been going around of like George Lucas talking about how like democracies fall into dictatorships. And I fucking love Andor, man. It is Star Wars for grownups. It's unapologetically so. It's still very true to the universe of the world. And I really have to say, episode 8 is one of the best episodes of TV I've seen. Like this season is like Game of Thrones level. It's just good TV. You know what I mean? It's not just good Star Wars and blows. And listen, I love all things Star Wars. I'm a Star Wars apologist, but this show blows everything else Disney's been doing Star Wars has been doing on Disney Plus out of the fucking wall, out of the water. It's like this acting is amazing. The subtext in the performances is incredible. The scripts are incredible. Like I cannot believe that this show exists and it's as good as it is. So fucking Andor, dude.
Wow.
So fucking good.
Fucking Andor, dude.
Fucking Andor, dude.
It's really wonderful. And I feel like people are not going to give it a shot because it's Star Wars.
Fucking Andor, dude.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
My computer's like, go
fucking
watch
Andor,
it
dude.
right now, dude.
Go check it out. Fucking Andor, bro.
So that right now.
Fucking did it. We lost Betsy for a second. Okay, now
back.
we're going to lose Betsy for the entirety of this episode.
Thank you
and
for
temporarily
having
for all of you at
me.
home. Betsy, thank you so much for
I love
being
y'all
here.
so much.
We love you. Thanks for doing this. Gosh, it's always... I just feel so blessed to have you in my life, and I'm just like
Thank
every
you for
time
having
we
me.
invite you
I
to do the
love
show and you
hanging
say
out with
yes,
y'all and talking
we
about
feel
this
so lucky.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
so fun.
Of
Good
course,
Oh,
it's fun. Where can people find you? Do you
should
have anything
totally
you want
hit
to
up
plug? You
A
want people
Funny
to pay
Feeling,
your Patreon?
mine and
your-
Marcy Jaro's podcast. Yeah, if you haven't already. And then I have another podcast called
If you
We Love
haven't already.
Trash with Mono Agapian, where we celebrate everything that's trashy. And y'all should watch Ghosts on CBS and Paramount Plus. It's a good show. Oh, thank you.
It's so good. I've watched it.
great.
You're so funny in it.
Wow.
It's so good.
That's too
I love it.
nice.
Real superstar here, everybody. Betsy's
Yes,
a
in
superstar.
Frog
so-
and Toad on Apple.
And you're a voice of a squirrel in
I
something
play
in
a
Frog
squirrel
and Toad.
named Squirrel. Hell yeah, dude!
That's fucking
Hell yeah! Frog and
Fucking
Toad,
Frog
dude.
and Toad, dude.
There we go.
Fucking Frog and Toad. They're best of friends, man. Frog and Toad is not only an amazing Frog and Toad adaptation,
Fucking
it is
Frog
one
and
of the
Toad,
best
man.
shows on TV. It's just good TV. Yeah. All right, everybody. That's it for this week. If you want more, you can find us on our YouTube channel and on BCC, the other side on patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club for exclusive and ad-free episodes and more. Find the link to that in our show notes and in our Instagram bio at Bigfoot Collectors Club. If we don't see you over there, we'll see you back here next Wednesday. Until then, good night.
Please.
And go get regressed.
Come on.
Just kind of a plea. It's like, come on.
San Diego?
San Diego?
That's really good.
Pretty proud when I thought of that one today. What am I gonna call it? Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced and engineered by Riley Bray and executive produced by Riley Bray and Michael McMillan. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. Follow Suneaters on Spotify. For 3 bonus episodes every month and ad-free episodes, check out BCC The Other Side at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.